think we're up. So, my name is Anon F. the Hedge Funds, and I just got on here to figure out a couple things with the float, not the float, but the short exempt, the short volume, and the, let's see if there's anything new with Ortex also. I'm going to go ahead and link this into the chat so that way people can, excuse me, come in. Let's see. Just give me a second. Here we go. I gotta get this up so I can see who's coming in. I can chat with them. Alright, so I just linked it up there, and we've got, yo, what's going on? Yeet yeet. Let's see how long it takes for the bots to get on tonight. We got 7 people so far. 12. These are impromptu, so usually they will go. Let me grab my scotch and my water. Hold on a second. Alright, I am back. Yeah, I saw. So I know you guys can't, or some of you guys can see that, but let's see. Dude, you better be good to your wife. I'm trying Susan. She had a good birthday. We actually had, I wanted, I said, "What, you can have whatever you want." She was like, "I want Indian." So we got some Indian food delivered to us, and we had a good day in the market. So I was like, "Whatever you want." She got garlic naan and coconut chicken and some other stuff, and it's pretty good. And then she was tired, so she wanted to go to bed. So I came down here and I offered to rub her. Yeah, no, I mean, she went to bed. She was like, "And now I just want to go to bed, so you can do your little YouTube thing if you want." She thinks it's funny. Excuse me. Yeah, she went to bed. All right, so it's in the money shares are what, T plus 3. So it doesn't go, Andrew. It doesn't go by like if they're in the money or out of the money. So T plus is just a settlement, and so options typically settle in T plus 2, and usually common shares settle in T plus 3. So that's what's going on there. What's up, Devil Dog? We got some Marines in here, I see now. Hey yo, folks. Yeah, so apparently, I'll just bring this up here. Aterian now has merchandise, which I love, because we wrote them last year, and we said, "Hey, listen, we'd like to be part of this community. And we think you guys, make some extra money on the side." But they put out some shirts, and I think we'd sent them some designs, and yeah, at least they've got some fun thing now for us to, buy, and a little extra, I don't know what their cut out of that is, but yeah, it's pretty fun. So, and hopefully they'll expand on it, and we can get some, I'm definitely gonna buy a couple. Probably like that on too. I like that hoodie. Okay. I'm not taking any more SS bots. Somebody else do it now. Okay, so he's not. He doesn't want to take any more screenshots, but we'll see. Huge wins today. Outdid my expectation. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I thought we were gonna retest the 5, and instead we're sitting here about $1 higher. Is this live? Yeah, it's live. Yeah, I don't know how to do pre-recorded videos at this point. And I have no editing skills, so I just jump on here and talk to you guys. Yeah, let's see. What about the night surprise, man? What was the night surprise? I haven't looked at the numbers yet because I was with my wife. Yeah, chicken tikka masala. That's the best. I was gonna say I've got that's what I ordered. So we got coconut chicken, chicken tikka masala, and some garlic naan. Just money. Yeah, so T+2 means that today plus 2 days, basically. Time plus 2, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. The merchandise is bullish. Yeah, I like it. Hang on, how many shares do I have? I have a lot. not like 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 the CEO or anything like that, but I've got a good amount, and I've got some calls too. So I feel good about where we're at. I know we do have some whales in our Discord that have a lot of shares. Like, supposedly we have two guys that have at least like 300,000 in the Discord. I think somebody else has got like 200. Somebody else has got 150, and I mean, those numbers are growing. So we have a couple million just in our Discord, I know for a fact. Let's give Dad some likes. Thanks, guys. Hey, Anna, a quick question on options. Will my Will my options get Ivy crushed by earnings? It would depend on which, obviously, options you have. Like, if you have weeklies, like for this week, yeah, you're not gonna. It's not so much Ivy crushes; it's theta. Like, your theta is gonna decay the faster you go towards expiration. So, like, for example, this Friday, each day that goes by, the theta decay increases rapidly. Like, that's why, like, if you want to learn something about options, you'll find that theta is one of the biggest things that kills options, because if you buy a weekly, that's why, like, if you buy a 0 day to expiration, basically, if you're not like insanely higher than where where you started, you're going to get killed, and you're probably going to lose all your money. So that's why they used to call them, something bad back in the Wall Street bad days. But yeah, I typically, my usual strategy is going at least, I believe it's like, I used to do 3 months, and then I actually upped it to 6 months. And I actually was following that rule with these options. When I bought $5 calls, we were actually at like $7. And I was down on these for a long time. But, I did know that this was earnings coming up in May. And I bought May 20th, and it was more than 6 months out. And it was in the money at the time. And then we went all the way down, and then we've gone back up. But, during that time, I collected more shares. But yeah, I would recommend, if you're playing, options for most things, typically buying theta is a good idea, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, honestly, if I had bought like 3 months out, I would have lost all my money. But just because it was like, we've now had enough time to recover, I'm back and I'm good now. Let's see. I'm expecting a 4x return minimum. Maybe I have issues, but I don't need to have like a 400k win to solve my life. So I'm not gonna read all of it, but this means that 100k investment, that's like a fifth of the way. Yeah, I mean, the DD is pretty solid. I think there's been a lot of people. It's not just me. Like, and I don't know why people like gravitating towards. There's a lot of people out there writing DD, and I'm not the only one. Like, DZ's got some great stuff that I've learned from, and like, there are other people out there posting DD about Aterian, I think. So, I mean, I just happen to, put pretty, gifs up and make people laugh, I think so. But I do track all this stuff every day, and that's something that I like to do, because I want to know where we are. And, as you saw in like the DD, like, I started calculating the volume, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Yeah, I told my family to get in on Aterian. Got 2 people on it. That felt so good. Yeah. Thanks for what you do. Thank you. Yeah, garlic naan's really good, James. Yeah, I got the 1,000 subscribers. No, I'm not monetized yet. So apparently, what happens is I am in the pending process now. They have to review, and they said it can take up to a month. So please tell your whales not to sell all at once. I will. I promise. I will. I will at least try to. I can't tell people how to trade, but yeah, I was gonna say I don't think they're gonna. I think they're in this for the long haul. A lot of them have been here since August of last year. I don't think they're bailing at this point for, for the amount of money they had tied up. I know, like one of the guys, I think he was down like 700,000 on Aterian at one point, and now he's profitable. So because he averaged down. Appreciate the work. Thanks, Ricken. Where's the merch? The merch is on store.aterian.io, and they've got all this stuff here. So if you want to see the merchandise that they have for, their shareholders and other people, that's it right now. Maybe they'll grow that, and that will be a little thing there. But I think they're definitely getting a little community. So yeah, Theta Gang exists to steal money from Wall Street bets apes. Yeah, that's if you want to learn the other side. And I think this is smart for all retail to do. Personally, I would go into Theta Gang and go, how do you guys take my money? And they will probably laugh, but like a lot of them will maybe be nice enough to show you the reasons why they do what they do, and they're usually the ones that are profitable. And while the Wall Street bets people are typically the ones that lose out. Can you explain the hedge fund's logic for borrowing 1.3 million more shares at closing time on some of their shorts? So I think what's happening is this. I think what's happening is they're having to buy more shares in waves. And then I don't want to be accused of anything, so I have to be careful what I say, because apparently I have a couple friends who have told me that I have to watch out now for what I'm saying, because I'm on YouTube and I'm getting some attention now that I didn't used to get when I was just like a guy that had like 100 followers. And but it seems like there are now more shares obviously floating out there, and I think what's happening is these people are getting assigned their shares after the T+3, and then they're getting those shares lent out by these brokers and other people on top of that. And that may be causing an issue because technically those shares were already accounted for, but that's called rehypothecation. But I don't know that for a fact, so I'm not going to accuse anyone of that. It seems like they're coming up with a lot of shares that seemingly are coming from nowhere. And so, this is what happened with GameStop, where literally like they were having to go out and buy, deliver these shares to retail, and it seemed like the shorts would then re-short those same shares that, and that's where you can get this big mess going. So someone said they have 37,000 shares. If I have time to sell my car, don't sell your car. But yeah, yes, FDs, I will not go into that. But yes, that was a Wall Street Bets thing. Where can I buy the ATER merchandise? I think, yeah, there's going to be a link in the Discord, but it's store.aterian.io right here. So if you wanted to know where to go buy that, that's where you can go buy their stuff and support the company. Or if you just like the shirts, that's fine too. It's almost my bedtime, 3:30 a.m. Hey, good night there, Nifty. Aterian should release an Anon shirt. Do I get a cut of that? Then they would have to know who I am. I don't know. You are a gift to the trading community. Oh, thank you, Brandon. Three fingers. What are you expecting for the price action tomorrow? Let me see. I mean, so what I've found is typically when we have these large volume days, they're typically followed up by 1, 2, 3, and then like on the fourth day. So like if I was to go here, this is a pretty large volume day. So 1, 2, 3 would be tomorrow. So, but that would be that's also, though, the day that T+2 from Friday would have hit. So Tuesday could be a decent day, and then Wednesday could be even a bigger day, depending on how they space these things out. So I think they're like, and I know everyone jokes like I keep saying it over and over again, but I feel like they're in trouble. Like, it's true. Like, I showed you guys in that DD. Let me see if I can pull it up and just like bring it over. But the chart, we're not able to see the April FTDs yet. But what I can tell you is, let me just pull up this thing right here. All right. So I made this when I was at work today, just because I normally keep like I guess like a running sheet on my my Google Sheets or whatever, and I share it with the mods. But I just wanted to kind of like bring this over because I was trying to do something fresh that I could just kind of eye it real quick, and so I pulled all the Fintel and the FINRA data, and I just wanted to condense it down to just what I thought was important. So on March 8th, right here, this is when 100% utilization hit. It was a 3 million volume day. They had a couple short exams used, but it was like 62% of the volume was shorted, basically. It was, here's your aggregate total. Right here's your actual. So here's the other thing. Like, I guess not every trade gets logged because there's like what's called like different legs of the trade. So they don't always have to log the whole thing. But this is what we see when we look at our brokers. But when the stuff actually gets reported to Fintel, it's actually slightly different. So I'm just going off of the aggregate, which is what Fintel uses. And so if you take this divided by this, it'll give you what the short percentage basically is for the day. So shorts actually shorted 62% of that day. And that was the day that they were on, utilization was maxed out at that point. And then I just started going through and adding up all these numbers. And then this is where things really took off, because that's when we had that large spike. But they shorted a lot of shares that day. Or short volume, I should say, was a lot. Now remember, this is supposed to be locked up, basically. Like, the float's locked up when you hit utilization. Like, or at least it's supposed to be harder to borrow shares. But yet somehow down here, it seems really, really easy to borrow shares. Especially now, we are 41 days at this point. Now, I didn't get the rest of the numbers for today, so I'll pull them up probably right now while we do the stream. But I'm just saying that if you look at this and you add it all up, and this is minus today, we didn't even add today's in. That's a lot of volume on the short volume, since supposedly the entire float was locked up. And if you look at like how much that's a ton. And I think this is probably close to 800 million now. And I'm not even sure what the short exams will be today. I'll have to take a look at that during the stream. But I mean, these numbers are nuts. Like, where are these shares coming from? Like, and I think what we're going to do tomorrow, I'm going to dive into some of the ETFs and the mutual funds, because I want to double check to make sure they're not just like generating shares out of them. There was only 4 million shares in mutual funds and like ETFs. So I can't imagine they're using, but I mean, that technically you can pull shares out of an ETF. And so is that what they're doing right now, is just pulling these like million shares multiple times out of the ETFs? I don't know. I'm going to find out tomorrow. But I just wanted to show you that it's very interesting that they keep coming up with these shares out of seemingly nowhere. So, so we very possibly could see a little bit of buying pressure from the T+2 if they didn't just do it all today. So they don't have to do it on the day; they could do it before. So, like, if it's T+2, it could be covered, today. Technically, at the end of the day, they were just like, let's just get it done with, and then we can short tomorrow. So it's hard to tell exactly, but if you start going back and look at some of these larger volume days, you're going to see probably an increase on those days, like 3 or 4 days later. They should become due, and then we're going to find out with FTDs pretty soon. Shorts covered maybe 1% of the entire SI, but how do we speculate phantom shares? So technically you can't. You can't you can't do that. So, like, you'll never know how much, because they're basically marked through the books, and we don't have access to those books of those shorts because transparency is not what this market's about right now. So I just wanted to like throw that out there. All right, so Anon is a public figure now. I hope not. Anon DZ 2024. I think DZ do better than me. Let's see. ATER is not a dead cat. No, it's not. And I am not a cat. God, when he said that, when DFV said that in front of the House, I mean, the House Congressional, like, I was like losing my mind laughing because I was just like, did this dude just say to these like politicians, "I am not a cat"? That was classic of him. That was awesome. He's got 17K shares and feels poor. Yeah, I mean, trust me, I feel poor compared to some of these whales. So I'm the same way. Oh, good, someone linked this store. As for me, I like the stock. Yeah, I do too, and I have been exercising my call options, just like he did. All right, let's see. I got 100K shares. Friend has 250K shares. We're not selling until high numbers. He's thinking about all-time highs, and he's big in finance. He just told me, just what he told me about ATER, and now I'm along for the ride. Yeah, Cosmo, I was going to say, there is a lot of shares that are out there that I don't know where they're coming up with them. So, okay, can you explain cost to borrow? Yeah, give me a second. Let me pull up Ortex so people can see that, or at least Fintel. I can pull up Fintel. That'd probably be easier. Because then we can actually look at the... So I'm going to drink some of my scotch. I'm not used to talking a lot, so... ATER up 18%. Love that. Okay. So we can go down to short interest. Here we go. All right. So obviously our gamma has gone down, but our squeeze store is still number one. So right here you have the amount of shares available when they return them. So typically they had 0 at this point right here. It looks like 2 o'clock, and they started returning some shares here. They're paying though right here. These are your cost of borrows. So like CTB, cost to borrow, is essentially how much it costs them annualized right here. So in this case, they're paying about 120%, 121, 122% annualized. So that actually, yeah, and it's right here, and they will tell you right here. Our source is always present. View them as positive numbers, and they represent an annualized interest rate that is paid by the borrowers for the share. So you figure this is a very high number, and at that point, it's think of it if you had like a credit card and you had an interest rate of 121%. That is extremely high, and if you were to pay that on an annualized basis, you better have a lot of money coming in, because that's a very high rate to pay. So that's why it puts more pressure. Like when Aterian was down here at 8%, these guys basically could short for free and nothing would ever happen. When you start moving up, though, into this range, that means these shares are very, very hard to come by. And so people are charging more for them. And it also means that every time they try to get more shares out, and it's starting to cut into their actual... Like, say, for example, you shorted from $10 down to 2. And now you're coming back on the other side, and maybe you didn't close anything, and you've just been now kind of... You got trapped, essentially. Because I think that's really what happened was right here on this day, wasn't a huge day. But what happened was the volume was so great that these shorts got trapped in here. and they started to fight it just thinking it was a random fluke, but no, like the volume has kept up. And now they're having problems because, like, you know, if it had gone back down to these smaller like levels, they probably could have maintained that and been fine. But they're starting to lose each battle now. If you can tell, like you can see they push down this wick, they push down that wick. Now this is when they were really trying to, you know, chop it around. But now you're having these long like run ups, and it's because they have to cover and or hedge shares, and they're put the. If you know anything about reading candlesticks, you can kind of tell a story with a candlestick. So like you could see that we ran up, and then they tried pushing it down. We ran up, they pushed it down, and we're, you know, still green, we're fishing fine, but like you can tell with these long upper wicks, they're trying to keep it from running above this level. You can see each time we run up to that level, it keeps getting pushed down. So I just want to throw that out there that, you know, you can see that they're attempting to keep this from running, because if this gets above here, I think you're going to see a lot of buying pressure, because number one, the option chains are like on fire right now. They're gotten real spicy, as I like to say. And once you move up into here, this becomes, I think, the danger zone, because that's when these guys have to decide, is it profitable enough anymore to keep these positions? Because at that point, I don't think it is, because the annualized cost to borrow is so high. So at this point, to keep trying to short down when you know, were profitable at 10 down to 2, you should have started closing probably in the 2s. But instead, they were like trying to really push it down and get it down to 0. Instead, they got trapped here. And so now they don't have any choice, and they're not closing any positions yet because they're still probably profitable up until like maybe like 10. But they're giving themselves this like 7 to 10 range to kind of try to keep things underneath it and see if they can get retail to, you know, turn down, you know, be able to push it back down. That's their goal. That's what I would do if I was short. So, but yeah, cost to borrow is just an annualized rate, and that's why the more expensive it gets for them, the less profitable they are. So, someone else says they got 125k shares. That's I ate the acid. Yep. Goat. 1,700 shares. Hey, if you have one share, you count. So that's what matters. Someone else said 5k shares. Is there still time to borrow? Yeah, I mean, there's time to buy. I mean, you'll find dips anywhere. I mean, every single day there's some sort of dip at some point. So, I mean, right now the trend is obviously going up. So I haven't seen a reversal. I haven't seen anything that indicates to me that this thing's, you know, losing any steam. We still had good volume today. So I think as long as interest and volume remain, this is going to become a problem, a big problem for them. I'm not effing leaving. Don't worry. Yep. Everyone's saying hi to Acid. You won't be for long. Let's see. When it squeezes, how high will it go? That's the question. I mean, these numbers don't make sense. Like I showed you guys like that. Look at all that. Like, they've used 5.2 million short exempts. They've used, you know, like probably 8 million in volume. Like, if people, you know, just say even like like an eighth of people were buying shares long, that's a huge amount that they don't have. And they're still shorting all this. I mean, you can tell, like, the aggregate short volume is high, and, you know, so I don't know where they're coming up with these. And so the only way they're going to be able to get shares from retail is if you raise the price high enough that retail goes, I got to get out, or you scare them when it's just, you know, volatility. But like either way, they're not going to sell down here at these levels. Sorry, I'm having to scratch my toe, so I moved away from the mic. But yeah, I mean, that's the only way you're going to get retail to sell is if it goes higher and they're willing to, you know, okay, that's enough. I can make some profit. You know, if you keep it down here in the 5s just forever, it's just going to become worse. It's the spring that's getting pushed down. So, yeah, I don't know. At this point, the only thing I can tell you is it looks like it's just going to continue to go up until it doesn't. And, you know, really what I'm looking for is signs that shorts are covering, and at this point, and we're also watching the options chains because they like to hide, short interest in the options chain and kick the can down the road. So DZ's been watching out for that, and we're also doing the same thing, and so we're hoping that we'll know if they try to play some games. All right, this is the way to get more shares. Yeah, just look for dips, and not financial advice. This I guess I have to preference that in every video, but nothing I say here is financial advice. I'm just a retail trader talking about stocks, and this one particular stock I like. So, all right, haven't felt this good since AMC in May. Yeah, I mean, it looks like, it is what it is. Dude, what you're doing is incredible. Way more value to retail than DFE. I've learned more in the past 3 weeks than the last 3 months. Okay. I mean, yeah, DFE was, I think, in a weird situation because he was actually like an industry professional, or he worked for it, so he actually had a license, and he worked for somebody else, and so I think he was trying to be careful of what he did because obviously anything he said could be coming back on him because he was a registered professional that did that. Like, I am not, so this is all like I self-taught a lot of the stuff, and I'm not perfect by any means. There's still stuff I need to learn, and I really need to kind of learn how the sausage is made with some of the stuff, especially I guess with the DTCC. I'm still learning a lot of like the ins and outs of that stuff. But I try hard. I call FINRA and I call all these agencies and try to ask questions, and a lot of them are such surprised that somebody's actually calling them. That's what I found out when I called FINRA, and they were like, "You want to talk to who?" I was like, "I want to talk to the short interest people." And they're like, and they sent me like 8 different voicemails, and I finally got one of this woman called me back, and she was very nice, and we had a nice conversation, and I started asking her some questions, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to keep trying to learn and keep trying to figure stuff out, and if I can help retail learn things, that's kind of the goal. That's why I started the Discord. I just wanted to be able to share resources and help people understand things and maybe learn things myself too. So. But yeah, I appreciate that. I think DFE is way cooler than I am, and he had way more money on the plate than I ever did. And I learned a lot from reading his stuff when I first got into the squeeze stuff. I really read through his DD, and I was like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. So that's something to look at. No one knows, Pete. At 25 there are warrants. But I mean, honestly, if it runs up to 25 again, that's going to be a lot of momentum. And yeah, I think somebody's right. If the market cap gets up to the threshold for Wall Street bets, that would be interesting because, I mean, this is a stock that does not have a large float. And so you can't have, I think where they have 11 million people in there. You can't expose yourself to that because if you get up that high, then whew. Those are questions you can't answer. I don't know what question it was in reference to. I'm getting behind in the chat, so yeah. So I don't know how high it will go. There are warrants up at 25, but I will say that it's we're a long ways away from 25 at this point, and the amount of warrants that are 15 are not even negligible at this point. So I'm not even going to deal with them because I think there's only 100 or 290 or 318K down at the 1560 level. So that's like running over a pebble when you're in a runaway train. So it's not going to be anything. Please give Anon a like. He's giving us this afternoon. Well, my evening, but yeah, appreciate it. People are commenting on 68 watching, 38 likes. Join the Discord. Yeah, join the Discord. Discord's fun. I was going to say, we have a good time in there. You should see it when Aterian's doing well. Whole places, you can't read anything. All you see is just flying by chats. I should go back one day and just read through what people are actually writing. Let's see. Maybe I'll be able to rent the ATER or Gator yacht for you, and yeah, that'd be awesome, Dan. All right, ETFs aren't that heavily shorted. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, we'd have to find out. I just want to dig through because I'm trying to figure out where they're coming up with these shares because it seems like they shouldn't be able to pull up these millions of shares out of nowhere. Someone linked the Discord. Yeah, appreciate it. And yeah, if you wanted me to do this full time, I mean, at this point I work a full time job. So if you ever noticed, like if you clicked on my stream during the work week, I can't talk in there because obviously I'm in an office and I have coworkers who are right next door, so I'm not able to like stream and talk. But people expressed interest in me doing that. I don't really understand why, because I'm not that exciting. I don't know why everyone kind of is making this big fuss, but they were like, yeah, we want you to stream. And I said, I don't know why, but okay. If I can, I guess, make as much as I'm making now, my wife said that it's fine to do that. So then I don't have to drive to work every morning. I'll just go downstairs. They're cheating. Yeah, I can't personally say that because apparently I have to watch what I say now because, okay, 50 likes. Thank you for those. I can't see how many likes I have right now, but because I'm reading through OBS Studio. Shorts in margin account shares in margin accounts can be lent out. That's correct. If you have a cash only, they're not supposed to be able to do that, but somehow I've read somewhere that in some of the clauses, they can just lend your shares out anytime, without your permission, if they choose to do so. I have to look into that because I heard that rumor, and then somebody was trying to say that, like, yeah, it's there, but they usually don't do that. But technically, there is a loophole if they needed to. So. The laser eyes have made their way into smaller YouTubers. Yeah, I was going to say we had them the other day, but, I mean, we had fun with them, so it's okay. Let's see. There will be more time until the shorts cover. Yeah, oh yeah, there's going to be plenty of time until shorts cover, because I don't think they're going to go down without a fight. I mean, I'm expecting this to be a wild ride, so, I mean, let's see. Someone said Trey's Trades and now other YouTubers with like 20k subs. They were in here when I had like 400 subs. So, I mean, I don't know if specifically they targeted me just because I was the one writing the DD, or if they were just going off of anyone that had like a YouTube that had the ticker on it. So I don't know. So the cost of borrow isn't that much. There are some that have way higher. So I just want to clarify something. So I think there's a misconception on how to read the Ortex data. So most of the time when you see that percentage, like the 300%, that's like an update from where you were. So if you were at like 40 and you went up to like 100 and something, that's like a 300% increase or whatever. Like, I don't think people realize that's not the actual, like, you're not being charged 300%. You're, most of the time it's like, it can get that high, but like the ones they show there typically are like a change of percentage, I think. I'll have to double check. Full disclosure, I use my friend's Ortex because I didn't particularly like their data, but he had access to it, and it is handy, I will say that. I just found that I tend to keep better numbers than they do most of the time, so like I could kind of calculate most of the stuff out myself. Just by pulling like FINRA and like other documents. But anyway, I was going to say, with Ortex, that because they're pulling this across from multiple different brokers, and like I'll double check to make sure, but I'm pretty sure that those are like percentage change and not so much actual like locked in. I think the minimum might be accurate, but like last time I checked on that FINRA, I think it was. Where's the FINRA one? Yeah, here. Like, someone like on Ortex today, I saw they had like something that said like 12, and I didn't, I don't see that on the Fintel, stuff. So, but yeah, I just wanted to show that, and let's see how they did today. So they did a decent amount of short exempts again, not like this day, but they did a decent amount. Okay, and they did about 57 roughly percent of the daily aggregates. I mean, I just don't know where they're. I don't know where they're getting these shares. And then FTDs won't matter until later on. We'll get to see the beginning of April, because that's when I expect them to be like getting up into these ranges, like we were back in here, like a bunch of them. And then let's see. Yeah, our days to cover right now, just because our volume's so high, it's gonna be skewed. But like, if you actually had these shorts having to buy, you would have like these huge green candles, and it would be out of control. So, let's see. You think the settled calls from last week will play a role tomorrow? Yes, I do. I think at some point those T+2s will come due. It depends on how many people exercise them, or let them run into the money that they had the cash for. But I expect them to actually, they may have covered some today and they'll cover some tomorrow, or maybe they cover them all at the end of the day and they just want to try to nail down tomorrow. It's hard to tell, but I think oh, they changed the eye color on the bots. I think today was the squeeze, my friends, my fellow Gators. Oh, the shills are back, and now they have red eyes. They must have gone through the AMC, and then they just never got out of it. The GME ones are green, and the AMC ones are red. Okay. Let's see. The gamma squeeze scores. Yeah, I was going to say, I guess he was addressing overmining, but he was basically just saying that the gamma squeeze score is a multi-factor quantitative model that identifies companies that have the highest risk of expanding. So we will probably grow, my guess is tomorrow, that go up that list. I think we were like 40 something, and my guess is after today we'll go up. Oh, what's the next play, Gators? The ATER squeeze was today. I'm ready to invest in other stocks. I love these bots and shills. This is like fun. So I think you guys should take screenshots of those. Make sure you get them and then add them to the channel, Aterian's best shills and bots. It's in the Aterian folder. We've been keeping all their stuff. I like the one that broke character and was like, listen, I'm just paying at a call center. We spread FUD for GME and AMC. I know what I'm doing is wrong, but you know, these guys are scared and they hire us to do it. And then all the other bots turned on them. It's funny. All right, let's see. Yeah, the bots are here. And I don't even have that many subscribers, so that's always fun. So, what is your price target? Yeah, I mean, like, listen, guys, I don't have a price target. Like, it looks like it's just going to go up. And at this point, it's going to go up until shorts cover, and then it will go up even more aggressively. And then at some point, like, you know, we'll probably see indicators that are showing that, you know, it's slowing down, like once the shorts cover. And then, you know, we'll have to see. I mean, because there are multiple things that are going to change also. Because my guess would be, I mean, and I don't want anyone to be, like, blindsided by this, but, like, at some point, if we're running in, like, the 20s or, like, you know, the 30s, this company needs cash. I mean, they will probably issue an ATM at some point. It'd be foolish to think that they wouldn't. I mean, I would hope they would do it as when they know that they could get the maximum dollar for it. But I mean, at some point, their market cap's gonna be so high, and they're not going to justify it on the balance sheet that they're going to need to raise some cash. So, that's not FUD. I've always told people I'm very transparent. I'm pragmatic. Like I'm not gonna blow smoke up anyone's butt and say this thing's gonna go as high as GameStop, because I don't know. I mean, like, I know that GameStop and AMC both issued ATMs at some point. So, and that was to the apes, it obviously kills momentum, but for the company it's good. So, but if they raise a large amount of cash, then it changes what their balance sheet is worth. So, I mean, this is a stock that, they were saying like fair value might be like $9 to $12, but all of a sudden, if they were sitting there with like $500 million in cash, all of a sudden that's a company that's worth 20 to 25 anyway. So, like, things can really change. So I don't really have a price target right now. I just need to figure out, like, the hardest thing is just knowing, okay, is this it? Like, the one thing I learned from GameStop is you can always sell on the downside. If you sell on the upside on the early side, and this is not financial advice, but like once you're out, you're out. Like I had a friend who sold, I think, GameStop at like 20, like 25 or 30. It was something like low. Like I got him in at like 18, and he like, I think ripped it to like 30. It ripped to 30, and he like sold. And then like weeks later, it's at 600 a share, and he's like, "Why did I sell?" I'm like, "I don't know. Like I didn't tell you to sell." Like, and he bought back in, I think, in like the 200s and the 400s, and then he lost money, and I'm like, "Dude, all you had to do was just hold on to your shares." Like, he was like, "Yeah, but it kept going up and down." I'm like, "Yeah, it was a squeeze play. It was, So, yeah, get your screenshots in. He's banning. I'm probably really. This is comedy. Yeah. Bots. Everyone's screenshotting the bots. No need to diamond hit ATER. It's not another AMC GameStop. Okay. Got the red eyes. ATER's still at buying levels. Yeah, it is. Like, honestly, like, at this point right now, Aterian's still, like, pretty close to book value. And, like, it's not like you're buying, it at $15 or $20 a share, and it's, the balance sheet doesn't represent that. Like, you're still very realistically within the price target. Like, most of the price targets were like 9 to 12. So, like, and if it gets up those high levels, the company could raise cash, or it's gonna make cash no matter what on those warrants. So it's gonna gain cash from the $15 warrant or $15 warrants and the $25 warrants if it gets that high. So then obviously those are gonna be, added to the float, but it's only like 5 million shares, and based off our volume, like it would gobble up. I mean, it would slow it down, but it would gobble that up based off our volume right now. So these poor short bots, how can they afford to pay their 14 mortgages? Let's see. Someone else has got 6,800 or 68,000 shares between him and his roommate. What would be a good call to share split? No, so I don't think they need to issue a share split. It's, it would be interesting, obviously, because GameStop did it, but like they're not that high. Like at this point right now, the shares are only $6 a share. Like most retail can afford $6 a share. If this was like 180 a share, then yeah, you would want to split it up. But I wouldn't split it down here at this level because like it just doesn't make sense. I mean, you could do it though if you really wanted to put pressure, because then your shares are worth like they did like a 4-to-1 or like a 10-to-1 split. Like you'd be able to buy a lot of ammo. But yeah, I don't think it makes sense unless the share price is much higher. My fellow Gators, huge breaking. This is Claire Horseman, a bot. Huge breaking news from Reddit. OG ATERs were asking all of us to put red eyes in our photo to be able to identify each other. Now that the squeeze is over and we move on. Like, do they think that this works for anybody? Like, honestly, I see this and I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy more. Like, if they don't want me to buy it, then I'm definitely buying it. Like, please give Anon 35 more likes. Oh, thanks. You guys were talking about the 200 moving average. Can I explain the... Yeah, so that's fine. Let me pull up this one. And let's add... I gotta zoom out a little bit. We do something like that, and then I can go over here, studies, add studies, and let's add. Let me get some scotch. Okay. Whew. Let's add a simple moving average real quick. All right, so we add this, hit apply. And then we're going to go ahead and add another one. Except for this time, we're going to add, let's add a 200. And we're making it a different color. Let's make it like, I don't know, what color do you guys want to make it? Like, I can't even see what I'm at. Let me just find the color here. Let's add that one. Okay, hit apply, and then we're up here. So this is what we were talking about yesterday. So this 200 moving average right here, it's a very slow moving average, and that's one of the ones that people like to use as like a reversal indicator. So as you see, this 200 moving, I probably should have made a different color. Let me do that real quick because it's too close to the red lines. Let's make it yellow. There we go. Okay. So as the 200 has been obviously coming down because the stock price has gone down, and we'd already gone through a death cross. Now though, as you've seen Aterian moving up, and that was just like a quick thing I was just throwing up. Remove those. Just want to see if it was holding through that channel. But essentially what's happening is they have this coming through here, and we rejected off it once. We went through, rejected off it twice, and then today we went through it and we stayed above it. So once you go over this is what's called a golden cross. This is going to be forming a golden cross, basically. What's going to happen is as it moves up, it's going to drag all these other like simple moving averages up through that line, and that will cause what's called a golden cross. And at that point, that's usually a reversal signal, and that's very bullish. So that's why it's significant, is because it's what technical traders use basically to signify that there's a reversal that is happening, and it's going to be moving up from there. Let's see. People are laughing at the bots. Who ends up demanding these phantom shares get paid off? Banks, brokers. So typically what ends up happening is the FTDs just pile up. This is becoming a mess. So this is what they don't want to ever see. When you are, the DTCC, if you are, for example, the SEC, you don't want to let people know that, like, there's problems. And obviously there are problems in the market. And if you know and you kind of understand how things work, you can understand how these things can happen, because settlement isn't instantaneously. So like these guys are able to like buy and sell shorts multiple times. They're able to like basically kick cans down the road, hoping that in 3, 5, 30 days, whatever the T plus is, they can fix these issues and get retail to sell, or get institutions to sell, or whatever it is. But every once in a while, you'll find a stock that, like a GameStop, where things didn't go the way they were supposed to, and then it just kind of shows the ugly side of the market, which is that naked shorts can exist. I mean, obviously GameStop had those, and because of the settlement system, shares get loaned out multiple times, the same shares multiple times, which is called rehypothecation. And this is not me accusing anyone of anything at this point. I'm just saying that that's how those things tend to go. Sometimes because of the settlement system being so long, it gives them a chance for things to go awry in the system. And so that is essentially what Aterian is dealing with, which is there are multiple shares floating out there that may or may not be on the up and up, like legit shares. And if that happens, then these brokers are coming up with FTDs, and as the FTDs pile up, then the SEC starts looking into it, and it's a whole thing. So like this is where it becomes a mess, and they don't want to tell people like, yeah, this doesn't work, but it is what it is. Gators, this is true. Put red eyes on your profile photo. This is coming from the head gator. We have a head gator? Who's the head gator? I was gonna say there's no leaders here. This Rashid. I've never met. Oh, and this is not me being any judgment, but I've never seen. I have a friend, my buddy from the Marines was named Rashid, and he looks very different than you, Rashid Wallace. That is Caucasian. Didn't quite match that up, did they? Huh. I'm gonna call my buddy. Let me text him real quick because I'm gonna take a picture of this and be like, "This you?" All right, hold on. The head gator. Yeah, I don't know who that is. DZ's a beast. Yeah, DZ is a beast. I appreciate the DDs. This is one and all time you were putting into this and sharing it with us. Yeah, of course. Yeah, who's the head gator? Yeah, I don't know who that is either. Of course, he's a bot. This guy named himself after a Detroit Piston. Yeah. Yeah. I don't put any eyes on anything. I'm not telling anyone to do anything in Jetpack. There's no financial advice. There is no aesthetic advice of how you should place your avatars. I don't care. In fact, this is just me talking to a bunch of people, so I have no idea who that is, but I do find that funny that you're right. He is named after Rasheed Wallace the Piston. The ADL jumped, but the money flow stayed pretty flat. What's my opinion? Don't they normally flow together? Yeah, I mean, like, they they are shorting a lot of stuff, and so that would keep the ADL pretty flat in general. Because they're not like if you like I think if we zoom out, like it did move up slightly, but yeah, like you would expect it to be moving more up here, like if you had this. So I mean, but like I said, we had this over here where here was earnings. You saw it go up. They had no choice, but then they slammed it back down. And I mean, same thing here. Like I don't think we moved up on not a ton of shares. Like we didn't have super high volume. Like this was like the 145 day, I think. This day was actually pretty high, but yeah, you're right. We didn't move up that much. I would have expected it to move much higher because you look at the money flow and you look at the OBV, they both flowed up and went higher. They're like almost pinned at 100%. And then you see this other dip and then up. Like, yeah, the ADL's not yeah, the price is not moving the way it should be through the ADL. You are correct there, Mitch H. Rash for short. Yes, Wally Gator is his name. He is the head gator asking us to put red eyes on all of our profile pictures, so listen to him. Who the hell is Wally Gator? Is Ken Griffin Wally Gator? I am in the Discord. How do I watch the stream? So I don't stream right now. I basically... An underpaid hedge fund intern reading this chat, and someone linked them the whistleblower. God, I love this group. Yeah, but I was going to say, yes, I do not stream during the week because I am not able to do that at work because yeah, I mean, someday maybe if I get enough Patreon supporters that I could replace my salary, then yeah, I would switch to streaming all day long, and I'd talk to you guys and walk you through anything you wanted. But yeah, I mean, at this point right now, I can't do that, so I still have a. Let's see, Gavin the Fish. Any canary in the coal mine we should look out for pendulum swings towards shorts? It's mainly just keeping volume. Volume and momentum are important in this sort of thing because at this point they can't control the price when the volume is so high because they just don't have enough shares to do it. Like if the volume slows down, then they'll bleed it out. more Bell Smart Gators, listen up. My head gator at Reddit's asking us to put red eyes on the profiles, and now the squeeze is over. I mean, I just don't understand why they think that works. Like, if you're gonna bot and show, at least like try to like I don't know. It's just, man, look closer. Look for the red eyes. Yeah. Let's see. Red eye bots. Does that mean the stock's getting hotter? Yes, we're doing well. All right. Let's see. Zip Trader's been covering ATER for the last 10 days, and he's got 603K subscribers. Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I wrote him once and just said, kind of introduced myself as, the writer of the DD from the Reddit, and I think he's read my stuff, to be honest with you. He never said anything, but some of the stuff I wrote out, like I think he covered pretty in depth, and I'm pretty sure he at least had read it as like a reference point, and then probably did his own research. Because I think we both kind of came to the same conclusion, which is these guys got greedy, especially down in this area right here. Like when we went through here, we had that earnings call, and then they pushed it down below current asset values. Like I think that's where I think he actually kind of was looking at my stuff, and he was like, oh, this guy's eventually, I think I even wrote in one of my DDs that at some point someone that's smart or like has a big, following is going to see this someday and go, yeah, this is screwed up. And, at this point that's been happening, so that's a good thing. All right, so let's see. If this goes well, I hope to be watching you testify before Congress this summer. I do not want to testify before Congress, I can tell you that. But if they do make me go up there, then I am going to tell them everything I know about the market. And let's see how that goes over on national TV. Put the red eyes in your photo. These are orders coming from the Gator Master Gator on Reddit. Once again, I don't know what did they say his name was? Wally Gator? Okay. But yeah, shouldn't we be getting the FTD data for the first half of April soon? We get it, I think, halfway through the month. So I think the 15th, is that right? Or maybe it's the 24th. It's always delayed, but we should start getting the beginning of April soon. But yeah, that will be fun to watch, because as this goes on longer and longer, those FTDs are going to get bigger and bigger. All right, who buy more ATER? Will that work? Yeah, might as well. We're listening to the Master Gator, guys, so just keep that in mind. The Master Gator told everyone to do something. Wally Gator told you all to put red eyes on your profiles pictures. Personally, I don't care what you guys do with your pictures or don't do with your pictures, and I'm not giving financial advice. So, but yeah, I think what they're trying to do, is my guess, is they're trying to make it look like they can blend in, or it could be basically them trying to look like they're colluding, or some sort of like we're all doing this as a group, and that's not true. We are all individual investors who will, nobody has any power over anyone else. Like, you want to buy and sell, day trade the stock all you want, go for it. Like, if you want to hold. If you want to sell. I don't care. Like, we are all individual traders. We make our own choices, and I mean, that's the truth of it. Nobody here is organized, and these are all just people looking out for the families and trying to do what's best for themselves. So, I just watched a video about selling cash secure puts. If I sold a put for a strike of $6 tomorrow for end of the week, would that be smart? Yeah, it depends on the premium. What I like to do when I'm selling puts, and just so people know this, selling cash secured puts is actually bullish, because you're promising to buy this asset at a certain strike price. So because of that, it's buying pressure, not selling pressure. If you buy a put, then that's selling pressure. But if you, for example, sell a put, you're actually going to be buying it if the stock goes, basically down in price. It's a good way to actually make some extra money. And if you are going long a stock, especially one that's going in an uptrend, those are actually very, very, smart, because, you either get the cash for it and buy more shares, with that cash, or if you do get assigned, you're going to buy it anyway, and you got a better price for it sometimes. Now, if it went all the way down, then that wouldn't be great. But for the most part, if you're in a stock that's in an uptrend, it's not a bad way of doing it, and they will pay you a premium. So, yeah, exactly. That's how it works. And so, if you understand how you're doing that, it's a very powerful tool if you like it. And the other thing it does is it also puts pressure on the market makers, because you are now basically having, a bullish order coming in that they have to now hedge against, because if, you do end up getting assigned those shares, they have to buy them for you. So they have to have them on hand. So it's another way of keeping pressure on instead of buying in the money, calls, which definitely works also. But you could also sell a cash secure put, bullish put, and those would also count towards buying pressure that they have to hedge for. How would you recommend someone learn as much as you know about stocks? It's years and data analytic tools that I prefer. So it's years. I mean, this is accumulation of years of knowledge. And I try every day. Like I learn something new every day about the market, and I keep trying. I think going into it, and this is not something that you need to you can just slowly learn things every single day. And I think the best thing you can probably do for yourself is just get yourself in a growth mindset. What I mean by that is every day this knowledge is cumulative. And so if you do it the right way, meaning that you sit there and you learn something each day, it's going to stack, and it's going to be something that you're going to be able to go back and go, yeah. And you can always refresh your stuff, and but we have free books on the Discord. If you're part of the Discord, you can jump inside there. I started with all those PDFs, and I started reading through them, and some of them I skimmed, but some of them I really got in behind and started trying to learn things about. And the other thing, if you just watch the market every single day and ask questions, like in the Discord, there are people in there that'll give you very, very good insight because they've been trading for a lot of years. So when you go, I don't understand, I thought the S&P was going to go down because of this. They might point you to the options chain and go, well, you see all that options, that the put options that everyone's bullish or bearish on? Yeah, they're going to burn those just because that's a ton of money that they can make this week. So you may have thought, hey, listen, this, everything looks like it's horrible. And what do? They're going to just burn puts all day long because it will make them more cash this week. They might go down the next week, but this is something that you will learn over time. And so I would recommend finding out some good books that we have in the we've got free literature inside the Discord, and that I think it's under market education. And then if you go to the fundamentals, the first post that was ever in fundamentals was a link for basically a Dropbox full of free PDFs, and a lot of them I've gone through and read, and I'm sharing with everyone else. So it's all free, and you guys can just do that. So I'm not going to read that one foggy job, but it's funny. All right, Tanner's having a good night. Anon, you're amazing. Thank you. Heard the ATER squeeze hasn't even started. After today's leg up, I'm not even close to moving on. Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no point because it's a very bullish chart. I mean, you don't have to be like that looks good. That's strong. And at this point, it's not slowing down. We're getting good volume still. So, as long as this keeps going in this direction, and then you're going to have buying pressure on top of from the options before. It's a self-feeding loop. And once you start going up and these guys have to hedge, it just is what it is. All right. Some people are telling tickers that they want next. We're not going to talk about them, though. Kenny is green. Kenny is green. That's good, Kenny. We want to be green. All right. Do you still like May 20th calls? Yes, I own some May 20th calls. I think at this point right now, we're heading towards a catalyst event in that area because, I mean, it could take that long could take till May, but those options are getting stacked. And so before that time, at some point, it's going to explode. It's my guess. That, not financial advice, but if I'm just looking at all the indicators, I'm looking at all this stuff. I mean, we're getting pressure on right now, and that pressure eventually is going to do something. So let's see. When and if the exercise or warrants are exercised, do they sell them on the open market or behind closed doors? So those warrants actually belong to, if I remember off the top of my head, I believe it's MacArthur, Healing Solutions, which these are all merger warrants. So when they acquired these companies, when they did mergers and acquisitions, some of these owners got those warrants. So they will be the recipients of the warrants. They can choose to sell them on the open market, or they can hold them if they want. It's really up to them. So, But yeah, they can put them out on the open market if they choose to. But some of them are issued directly to those shareholders. Let's see. The amount of warrants would be eaten up pretty quick at the current volumes. Yes, that is correct. Yeah, Rasheed Wallace is literally a former NBA player. Rasheed Wallace, number 30, head Gator. God, you guys were funny. And a coach, too, apparently. He was on Portland for a while, too. Yeah, I must be really far behind because I'm just catching up to these right now. Zip Trader took some notes on your stuff. Yeah, and that's fine. I was going to say, honestly, I write the DDs for people to read. So if people gather information from them, that's awesome. Like, I'm not that person. Like, I want people to read those things and be like, oh, I see his point. Congrats getting 1,000 subs, bro. Been here since 117 subscribers. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, Persian. I was going to say, what happened, dude? I know you had those 750 calls. Did you wipe, or what was going on with that? Reading through. Was the free float short interest in market cap for GameStop prior? So the float was similar because they actually did a share buyback on GameStop. The short interest was way higher, though. Short interest was like, I think 140% or something like that. And the market cap was way bigger because GameStop was, I think it was already just a bigger company in general. I'm trying to remember. They did get down pretty low, but I mean, it is that. Let's see. I have PTSD from the paid signal groups I've been in. Well, I was going to say, we're not paid, they're Persian, so... and we also don't put out signals. Honestly, I just call out stocks that I think they're going to be good in the future. And if people want to invest in them, but I actually tell people, I'm like, this is my research. I write it all out for them, and so I don't do that stuff. I feel so lonely lately. Too broke to take out a girl. Oh, that's right, because you get those 750s. Why would Aterian use dilution? Wouldn't that drop the stock price, therefore dropping the... So it's a trade-off, Trey. So basically what happens is a lot of these companies are cash hungry because you want to grow, right? So you need money to be able to grow. And one way that's really easy for these companies, especially when you don't have a huge float, like if you have a float of 250,000 or 300,000 shares, that's a lot of float that you have there. Like it's not as bad like Nokia has like 1 billion shares or something like that. But so say you're a Aterian and you've got 62 million shares outstanding, you still have a pretty small float. So if you took 20 million of those, if you were able to sell them at 25 a share or 30 a share or something like that, you would raise a good chunk of cash from that. And then you could use that to be even more profitable by buying profitable companies, or there's just a lot of things you can do with that cash. So that's why you would do it. It's a trade-off. So you would hope that the cash that you take out is able to make you even more cash in the future. So that's kind of why you would use dilution to, basically booster up the company's balance sheet / make mergers and acquisitions, stuff like that. All right, so Gavin's going to bed. I know, I just hate Discord now. Yeah, I feel you. It's fine. But if you want to come in there, you're more than welcome. It's free and it's pretty fun. Kenny is our biggest whale. Kenny might be our biggest whale. Him or that Ivan guy. We'll see. Let's see. Just found your channel. Thanks for the DD. Yeah, appreciate it. I'm very, very happy that people were reading it and enjoying it. What is a good premium to look at when selling the puts? Shit's crazy. I never thought you could play it this way, but I like the $6 strike. And yeah, I mean, honestly, so what they will do is they'll pay you basically $54 per contract for you to essentially, you're promising to buy it at that strike price. But if the price of the stock goes up, they don't want to sell you that contract. So what ends up happening is you just keep the premium, and then they won't give you the contract. They won't assign you. Let's see. Hit like and subscribe. Thank you, guys. And there's the Discord. My dad looks like Rasheed Wallace, but 6 inches shorter. All right. I read a post on Short Squeeze with screenshots half an evening traded. Yeah, I mean, it's probably more than half today's volume was traded through dark pools or off exchange. I think 70% was what I saw at like noon or when. Your gifts in the TT were the best. Thank you. I was going to say, I try to put a little effort thinking about what's going on when I put those out. So, short interest was 100 for no. Jamie actually had 140% short interest, which I think is actually the max percentage they will let it go to. But yeah, it was like 102, like 140% shorted, or short percentage or something like that, and it was insane because like that means that like they shorted over the, and like institutional ownership was like something like 200% of the stock. It was just something stupid, and that's where you kind of go, something's wrong here. All right, so people are talking about their positions. I think I've caught up. I am getting a little tired, but yeah. How are the similar were the cost of borrow numbers? I'd have to go back. I don't remember what the cost of borrow numbers were on GameStop. I do remember they got high real quick once retail started going nuts. Drinking some scotch, sorry. So, yes, 1% of the short interest was covered today. Yeah, I mean, you guys saw 1% raised the stock $1. And they owe a lot of money. Or a lot of stock, I should say. Let's speculate if there's 10 million naked shorts. Then it's more than 80% of the float short. Yeah, that's exactly how it would work. But I am not accusing you of that. I'm just reading out what somebody else had written, CKG. So, let's see. I think cost of borrow on Jamie was 80%, if I remember correctly. That could be. That sounds about right. Yeah, the first price wall was at 610, and they flew that past. I think there was some spoofing, to be honest. I saw a couple of really large like sell walls that crumbled as soon as it got near them, and they moved them. They're not supposed to do that, but they do it anyway all the time. Like, oh no, we did have a seller there, just left. Short interest is not 41%. You have to account for the FTDs, the naked shorts, all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, these numbers that we see on Ortex are tame compared to the actual probable numbers that we're going to see here. And they're going to try to figure out how to let this go up to a certain point and then try to push it back down like they did the first time. Except for this time, I think retail's a little bit smarter on this play and they understand how this works. Yeah, so Mason, you asked about the dark pools. Yeah, so essentially what happens is like in fact, the majority of retail trades all go off exchange. Unless you're routing through IEX or one of the ones that definitely has like legitimate like routing, it's all going through and getting washed out in dark pools because of payment for order flow and other like reasons. But let me just pull this up real quick so I can see. Let's go dark mode real quick. Yeah, so like if we look right here, the off exchange data for today was roughly 68% of all trades retail trades went off exchange. So that means they only allowed, was that 22%? No. Is that right? No. 30, let's see. Getting tired now. You can tell. What is that? 32% of retail trades to go through. Yeah, that looks right. At least to my tired eyes, yeah. All right, let's see. Yeah, so we can't ever tell the naked shorts if there were any lawyers. See, I'm doing the right thing. We can't speculate those. Yeah, we can, I guess. The CEO had said 7 million shares last year. Don't know if they covered some of those. It's hard to tell. So it's really hard. I'm drinking my own self-made scotch. I actually have a barrel, and I put this scotch called Schalig in, and then I age it for a couple, months, and then it goes from there. All right. I'm starting to get tired. Probably should go to bed soon, but I just wanted to go over this. So let's just take a look at the things that would be important for tomorrow. But yeah, I just want to show you guys right there. You're seeing most of your volume going off. I mean, that's a lot of volume. Like right there. That's how much volume went off exchange. And this is the breakdown of how they get that. But like, that's kind of nuts. That most of the volume, this is probably all retail, went off exchange. So they didn't allow them to hit buying pressure. So, where do I get the small barrels? It was a gift from one of my buddies. He got married, and he had given all of us these engraved barrels. I don't know what they're called, but it's basically like it's got a hole in the top, and then it's got a spigot that you put in. And once you put the spigot in, you're supposed to just keep the scotch or whatever you want to age in there. And it gives it really like because it's more surface area hitting the liquid. With a huge barrel, which they have to do, obviously for reasons. The reason why, once it sits in there for years, it starts to seep in. But when you have a smaller barrel, it's more surface area touching more of the liquor, so it actually speeds up the process by a lot. So that's what I do. The bung hole. You're right. I think that's what it's called. It's where the cork comes in. So. Or are you saying that's the name of the barrel thing? But yeah, it's good. I like it. All right. Anyone else got any more questions? Or I'll take a look and just make sure I got everything out I need to as far as the numbers for tomorrow. But yeah, somebody. Good night, Papa Anon. Is it oak? I don't know. I don't know what it's made out, to be honest with you. I have a smaller bear, but my wife doesn't understand. Okay. It's fun. I'm not going to read that over the stream, though. But that was a good one. All right. I'm long 600 shares, but I found another 1,000 to invest. Do you recommend barely out of the money? I mean, I will just say this, and I don't give financial advice, Foggy. Shares, you will always have the benefit of time. If you are trying to do bang for buck, options are definitely that way, but you have to know what you're doing on them, and I don't recommend people do that if they don't feel very comfortable with the options. I can tell you theta is a very, very important thing, and that's why sometimes shares are the smarter thing, because if it takes a long time, you always have time with commons. When you play options, there's always elements of things that are not going to be in your control. If World War III breaks out and you had a really good being on a company that you were very excited about, but World War III breaks out, then yeah, of course that company's not going to do well, and you're going to get eaten alive by theta, and then you will probably end up with all that money gone. So your safer bet is to stay with common shares, obviously, but it's a matter of opinion and preference, and you can make more money on options. That's the truth. It just all depends on your risk tolerance and how comfortable you are with those options. So let's see. Is it toasted inside? I think they burned it inside before they pieced together the barrels, and then they, yeah, so it gives it a good taste. Yeah, I do need to get Raytheon. Do you think CA was a diversion today? I mean, I've got friends that are invested in CEI. I don't know. I need to do some research on that company. The Aterian right now has been kind of like my everything, just because at this point right now I don't have all day to sit around and research like I normally do. Like I do watch a ticker and I do trade stocks and I try to write some DD here and there when I can get some time. But like I do still work a full-time job. I just, luckily for me, it's not super demanding, so I'm able to kind of balance a bunch of different things on it. But yeah, I'd like to be able to sit around and research stocks all day if I could, but at this point right now I can't. So I do need, there are tickers that I need to look into that I have not looked at, but at this point right now, Aterian's really exciting, and I don't see any reason. I don't think I'm going to get the gains out of something else that I'm going to get out of this one. So until this switches and this becomes something that's no longer looking as bullish, and we'll know very quickly. Like I'm not going anywhere until I think the shorts have covered and that there's no possible way that this thing could go up anymore. But we'll see. I mean, I'm in this for the long haul. I've been here for a long time watching this stock, and so can we expect some retracement? Yeah, I mean, at some point we're gonna get it. Like, you don't go up forever, so there are gonna be down days, and I'm sure there'll be a day or two with red candles, and But at this point right now, until I see weakness, and we just haven't been getting weaker. Like we've been getting, in fact, probably even stronger, and like each day that goes by, these guys owe more and more shares that they don't have. So all right, sounds good, guys. All right, I'm gonna get going, but thanks so much for coming out and hanging out with me. I will go ahead and link the Discord one last time because there's a bunch of good people in there, and it's fun if you want to come and hang out. I do at least go on the Discord during the day when I'm at work, because I can at least type out and stuff. And if anyone has questions for me, you can do that. So there's the Discord, and if you guys want to make an honest man out of me and make me hang out with you guys all day long streaming, then I will give you my Patreon as well. No one's obviously required to do that. The Discord's free. We don't charge for that. So, but if anyone wants to, donate towards the Patreon, you're more than welcome to. Appreciate it. And someday maybe I'll be able to stream for you guys live every day, and you guys will make me a YouTuber or whatever that is. So there we go. All right, so you guys have a great evening, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow pre-market, and see you around the Discord. All right, thanks.